Thanksgiving to you.
And Nicole Rothstein, as it turns out, is her cousin. And the Rothsteins, I'm just gonna add, is a pretty famous crime family in American.
Some secrets don't just stay hidden. They run deep, locked away in records few ever see. And according to public discussion, this story may be one of them. There's talk of an unexpected connection, one that allegedly links Erika Kirk to powerful, historic financial families like the Rothschilds and Rothsteins. Some even suggest she could be tied to that legacy in a major way, though nothing has been confirmed. That alone is enough to raise eyebrows.
But Erika's exact family lineage, but presuming that they are Rothsteins, it's rather strange then that Rothstein shares family ties to another family, another prominent Jewish family that has been the center of many, many theories for hundreds of years and has been involved in everything from currency manipulation to economic crashes and to assassinations and everything in between. And that family would be the Rothschilds. Indeed, I was rather surprised to see that the two families are related, and pretty directly, because all I had to do was scroll over to the side and boom, there it was. The Rothsteins and the Rothschilds, two infamous crime families connected right next to one another.
But it's only the beginning, because when you look at the history surrounding those names, things quickly become complex. Stories connected to financial controversies, legal disputes, and global operations have circulated for decades. Some documented, others still debated. Now, whispers suggest a similar pattern could be forming again. Only this time, it feels broader and more difficult to trace. Not just isolated headlines, but something with wider reach. And at the center of it all, a narrative that reportedly begins with loss and a life that changed overnight. But this is where things shift. Erika Kirk's rise doesn't follow a typical path.
I get this question too of, well, you were a stay-at-home mom and all this stuff, like that's what you should go back to doing or something like that. A lot of people don't realize that before I met Charlie, I had my own company, and I still do. And it was one of those things where I built it in a way where that when I got married and had...
After taking over her husband's multi-million-dollar company, her influence has steadily grown, even reaching into political spaces. Yet one detail continues to stand out. Her life before that moment remains unclear. Public records appear limited. Background details are scarce. It's as if an entire chapter is missing. And that mystery is what keeps attention locked in. Her digital footprint, almost non-existent. Profiles across multiple platforms have either disappeared or become extremely hard to find.
Posted shortly after Charlie Kirk's assassination by USA Today states that Erika Kirk worked as a real estate agent in New York City for the Corcoran Group. So if we're to believe the story that she works as a real estate agent for the Corcoran Group, then her boss would be Pamela Liebman, because Pamela has been the president and CEO of the Corcoran Group since 2000.
Details about her background feel limited, and even how she first met Charlie remains unclear. What's left in public view is a carefully shaped image, a faith-driven woman, a devoted partner, and, by her own words, a business leader before stepping into a major role. On the surface, it all looks polished and complete, maybe a little too perfect. And that's when everything started to shift. Because instead of quieting concerns, that polished image sparked even more curiosity. People began looking closer, trying to piece together what might be missing. Now, according to ongoing public discussion, new information has surfaced that adds another layer of intrigue. Some claims suggest possible links between Erika Kirk and well-known financial families, though none of this has been verified. Still, it's enough to keep attention building fast.
At least that's what the public has been told. Now, in this Epstein document that's doing an official name search and alias for Lynn Forrester, aka Lindy Rothschild, it states that under her work affiliations that she is the Corcoran Group Inc., but if Erika was involved in anything sketchy and she needed to receive payment, having her work for the Corcoran Group as a real estate agent would be a very easy way to launder money, right?
And this is where it gets more complicated, because alongside these claims is a broader idea being debated. Some observers believe her public image reflects a modern version of influence, refined, controlled, and mostly out of sight. Nothing proven, but the perception alone keeps the conversation alive. And as more focus turns toward her past, one thing is clear: the unanswered questions aren't going away anytime soon. Some of the claims being discussed go far beyond everyday controversy. They touch on stories that people say could shift how everything is viewed. Allegations, speculation, and unanswered questions have all been pulled into focus. And before any major deep dives brought wider attention, something unexpected had already surfaced. A social media post, reportedly from Nicole Rothstein, identified as Erika's cousin, added a personal layer to the story.
I'm never able to figure out what the heck the purposes of these LLCs are. What do these businesses actually do? Lori has LLCs coming out of her ears, okay? Lori's got a lot going on. And I want to say something else. Her professional backstory in and of itself, it's odd. It's kind of like Erika odd, to be honest.
In that post, Nicole described Erika as family, writing, as her cousin who is fully Jewish, half of her family is Jewish, while she herself is Christian. She also shared that Erika respected those traditions and had celebrated holidays with them. In another message, she wrote, "As Erika's cousin and best friend, thank you. She is grieving hard in private. I've held her while she cried in my arms." She continued, "Is she strong when in public? Yes, but to doubt that she isn't grieving in private is crazy." These statements painted a very different picture, one centered on personal loss rather than public speculation.
Friday, we let you guys know that Erika's mother, Lori, has always used an Erpenbeck brother on her paperwork. He's signing things for her, helping her to form these many corporations. Rick Erpenbeck is his name, whose brother Bill did over 2 decades in prison for financial fraud, trying to kill.
But this is where things shift again. Because while those posts suggest a family connection to the Rothstein name, they also open the door to more questions. Around the same time, details about Erika's past work began circulating. It was reported that she had a role at a well-known real estate firm, though public records show limited activity during that period. That alone raised curiosity. And it didn't stop there.
Sister burying cash on a golf course, just run-of-the-mill stuff, And Rick's father, Tony, tried to arrange for the kidnapping and murder of some kids because he was upset that he was getting time in prison. We can now confirm that it's not just Lori who was close to Rick, but Erika is close to Rick.
And this is where it gets more complicated, because discussions online began linking company leadership to names appearing in widely debated financial records and business documents. Some interpretations remain unverified and are still being questioned, yet they continue to fuel speculation. And once again, the deeper people look, the more layered the story seems to become. There are also claims, still unconfirmed, that she may have played a role in brokering high-profile property deals, including one that has drawn major public attention. That detail alone has sparked a wave of curiosity. Because for many watching closely, it raises a bigger question. How does someone with limited publicly documented experience step into opportunities like that so quickly? According to ongoing discussion, some believe there may have been connections behind the scenes, possibly tied to influential networks within the same real estate world. Nothing proven, but enough to keep people asking questions. But this is where things get even more complicated, because some insider accounts, not independently verified, suggest her role at the Corcoran Group may not have been as straightforward as it appeared. These claims remain speculative, yet they've added to a growing narrative that her position could have involved more than what was publicly visible. That uncertainty alone has pulled more attention toward her professional timeline, and the spotlight doesn't stop there. Her involvement with charitable organizations, including Romanian Angels and Everyday Heroes Just Like You, has also come under renewed discussion. At the same time, conversations have turned toward business entities linked to her family, particularly multiple LLCs associated with her mother over the years. While forming LLCs is common in business, some observers point to patterns of rapid changes and closures as something worth examining. None of this confirms wrongdoing, but together, it creates a trail that many are now watching more closely. And just when it feels like the story couldn't get any more layered, another angle starts to surface. The timeline, the overlapping connections, and the gaps in publicly available information have all become part of a much bigger puzzle. According to public discussion, some believe these patterns aren't random. They point to a carefully managed narrative that reveals only what's necessary, while the rest stays out of sight. That idea alone keeps attention locked on every new detail. But this is where things shift again. Because despite all the speculation, there's still no single piece of confirmed evidence that ties everything together in a clear way. Instead, what exists is a mix of documented facts, personal accounts, and widely debated claims. When those elements collide, they create a story that feels both compelling and incomplete at the same time. That tension is what keeps people digging deeper. And as more eyes turn toward Erika Kirk's past and present, the conversation only grows louder. Every new detail adds another layer, but no clear conclusion. And that's the hook, because the more you look, the more questions seem to appear. But what happens when attention shifts to another branch of the family story? That's when even more questions start to surface. According to public records and ongoing discussion, Erika Kirk's mother, Lori, has been linked in the past to Rick Beck, someone Erika has publicly referred to as Uncle Rick. And if that name sounds familiar, there's a reason for it. The Beck family has been associated with a major financial fraud case that drew national attention years ago. Reports describe a large-scale scheme that operated for several years and had serious consequences for many people involved. That history alone has led some observers to look more closely at any possible connections. But this is where things become even more complicated. Because conversations about extended family members bring in additional claims, many of which remain unverified and still debated, there are also accounts tied to legal cases involving individuals connected to that same family network, including allegations of pressure during investigations. These details come from past reports and should be viewed in that context. And despite the seriousness of those cases, not everyone connected to the family faced legal consequences that matched public expectations. That contrast has raised even more curiosity, and then another question enters the conversation. Could any of these connections have influenced opportunities later in Erika's life? Some have speculated about possible advantages or behind-the-scenes support, even pointing to events like pageants she participated in. There's no confirmed evidence linking those ideas, but the timing and overlap have kept people talking. And just when it seems like every angle has been explored, another layer begins to surface. Some discussions online have tried to connect business entities and charitable programs linked to Erika and her family with past international activity, including references to Romania. There are also mentions of historical documents and individuals tied to military settings, though many of these claims remain unclear and unverified. Still, the overlap in locations and timelines has been enough to keep speculation alive. Then another name enters the picture, someone described as a past relationship. Mentions of personal messages and shared connections have only added to the narrative, with some observers pointing to what they believe are repeating patterns. The same circles, similar associations, showing up more than once. Whether coincidence or something more, it's a detail that hasn't gone unnoticed. But this goes beyond relationships or career moves, because the bigger question keeps coming back. How did Erika gain access to high-level opportunities so early without a typical background path? From pageants to international work and corporate roles, the progression has raised eyebrows. Some suggest it points to deeper connections, while others say there's no confirmed proof of that at all. And this is where the mystery holds its grip, because while theories continue to circulate, including claims about possible family lineage, nothing has been definitively verified. What remains is a story built on fragments, connections, and unanswered questions that refuse to fade. Some of the boldest claims go even further, suggesting she could be connected to a powerful financial legacy. That idea alone has intensified the conversation. Suddenly, past photos and public appearances are being re-examined, with some arguing they may not be random at all. According to these theories, certain connections could have been built over time, step by step. Even her relationship with Charlie is viewed by some as part of a larger path, though none of this has been confirmed. But here's the reality. Much of what's circulating remains speculative. There's no clear, verified conclusion tying everything together. And that's exactly why the conversation is still wide open. So what do you think? Is there more beneath the surface, or is this all just coincidence? Share your thoughts below and stay tuned, because this story might take another turn.